on quiz 3.2, it was on graphing equations, mostly equations that look like this, that look like y equals mx plus b. And so what we remember is that this is the y-intercept, and here we go. And this is where we start. And then this is the slope. And that tells us how to move, right? It tells us how much to rise, how much to run. So let's start with this equation. This tells me where to start, -4. Now it's the y-intercept. So it says, where does this line hit the y-axis? This is the y-axis, the up and down axis. So I'm going to go down to -4. I start there. And then this tells me my slope, my rise over run. And here's the thing. This isn't a fraction. Well, how do I make it a fraction? Anytime we have a whole number, we make it into a fraction by putting it over 1. So that means my rise is 2 and my run is 1. So I'm going to rise up, right? Think about which direction something rises. Like which direction does an elevator go if it rises? Well, it goes up. So I'm going to go up 2. And then I always run to the right. Right 1. Now, you could just do 2 points and make a line, but sometimes you can make your line neater by doing it a few times. So I'm going to rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. There we go. Now, the next problem is actually very, very similar. It's still y equals mx plus b. And the reason that it's sort of, that it's sort of tricky and kind of doesn't look like it is it looks like, well, hey, there's no number next to the x. Where's the slope? But the thing is we know that if there's not a number written next to the x, that there's an imaginary 1 there. So this equation has a y-intercept of 1. So I'm going to go to the y-axis. I'm going to go to +1. And the slope is also 1. So that's a whole number. I'm going to write it as a fraction. And it turns out I have a rise of 1 and a run of 1. Right? Lots of 1s here. So I'm going to rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run 1. And we can see where my line's going. There it is. Now, this next problem, there's sort of a similar issue here, which is you're like, wait a second. This doesn't look like y equals mx plus b. Because look, I do have a number being multiplied by x, right? There's my slope, but where's the b? There's no b. Well, the thing is it seems like there's no b, but the reality is you think, well, okay, well, what is being added here? Here there was an imaginary 1 being multiplied. What imaginary number is being added? Well, there's nothing being added. So what's another word for nothing? 0, right? Nothing is being added to this. So 0 is being added to it. So the y-intercept is 0. So on the y-axis, if I go to 0 on the y-axis, that's here. It's at the origin. And then I have my slope, which is rise over run. I'm going 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I'm sorry, I haven't been clear already, but you should be pausing this and now trying the problem on the right. So if you haven't already, sorry, my bad for not reminding you. But go ahead and let me draw this line before I keep talking. You should pause the video now, and you should do this problem right now. If you missed these two, then go back and do these 3 right now. And I would really recommend that you do these 3 before moving on to the next one, because the last problem is a little bit different. So please make sure that you've done these 3 examples and these 3 problems, and you've asked for help and you've gotten your questions answered on these 3 before you continue to this last one.